a little bit of ecstasy, ow, a little bit of you and me. Ow. Goes ahead and brings out the cocaine. So he brings out...
if I make the cake stretch, it's gon' get liquor. She want me to say yes, I can't be liquor.
What's up, everybody? It is Welcome to China and welcome to my channel. I'm hitting y'all with that jacuzzi. Anyway, y'all, you know the drill. Your girl is on her way to what? 400 subscribers. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and give your girl some love, because she up at 4 in the morning giving y'all some good content. And guess what she got for you today? A story time, baby. So make sure you hit that sub button and let's get into it. So today is a story about the wild night with my boss. Yes, my boss, my actual manager. I don't know, I'm talking with an accent. When I was back down in Illinois. So this is when I was bartending for about 6 months at this really expensive steakhouse, and it was super good and super yummy. So that's that. So I was bartending and I met a person who basically was, I don't know, a customer, yeah. And his name was, we'll name him John. So John was gay, and that was something that he led with. He definitely told me he was gay first because he wanted to befriend me. And at first I was like, excuse me. Oh, usually I'm very friendly when I'm bartending, but I still have that offish tendency to kind of go back to. I don't care, even if I'm working customer service, don't try me, I don't want to talk to you. So I'm over here this is absolutely too much. So your girl was like, okay, I'm gonna befriend you and be cool. So one night, John, who's important to this story, who is the customer, he left me a $60 tip. So he left me the $60 tip one day, and then he invited me out to his car where his 2 husky dogs were literally in there, in his Audi, promise to Jesus, and they were sitting there in air conditioner. And I was like, this man is truly rich. So he left me a $60 tip. He was super kind and nice. He wanted to have a drink with me inside the bar, but I couldn't because I was an employee there. So he invited me out to the car to smoke a bowl, literally. And then he goes and he does a bump. He's like, you want a bump of cocaine? I said, oh, no, I don't need the cocaine. But he offered, I was like, wow, he's very kind. And I did finesse. I was like, so, can I get a G to take back with me? He definitely gave me a gram of tree to take back. So I was like, oh, John, you're so sweet. So after that, I was like, this man is cool. I have never had a wealthy friend. His family owned some type of agricultural business, but he was on the down low. And basically it's not something that is known about him, so it was just a secret. So I felt I was able to kind of I was a young girl in college, so whatever, I was 21 years old at the time, so I was just a cool person for him to hang out with. And I'm not a judgmental person, so it was what it was, and it was cool to hang out with him too, so whatever. So him and I started to hit it off, and he would come to the bar here and there, and we would text, and he was telling me about this guy that he was seeing, and he got stood up on a date, but the guy he was seeing was much younger, and he was just going through some things. So he invited me and any of my friends that I wanted to bring out to dinner because he got stood up one night. So we went to go get sushi, and we got whatever we wanted. I was still nervous, I don't know if he's gonna get the tab. I'm super broke, but he ended up getting the tab, and I ended up taking my friend Christina, and then my friend Mehmet with me. So I took Christina and Mehmet with me, and they were there with me. So I felt comfortable, and I was like, okay. So we're eating, and then he was like, well, my parents are out of town. So something about John is he lived probably 45 minutes to an hour away from the college campus area that we stayed at, and his parents lived in the next town over where we worked. So that town was Sycamore. So my school was in DeKalb, and that was in Sycamore. So we were like, okay, dope, we'll go to his parents' house. So we go to his parents' house, and it's this beautiful bungalow, and it's all brick and rocks, and it's super pretty. And we go inside, and he's like, okay, don't spill anything, just don't leave anything, just be respectful. So I'm I'm always super respectful, so I'm okay. And I tell the rest of them, don't you do anything, whatever. So then, of course, we get to all talking and vibing, and he takes us down to the wine cellar. So at that point, he takes us down to the wine cellar, and we get a call, and he's like, yes, this is Farah. Farah is who I'm gonna name my boss. So this is when my boss comes in. He's like, so this is Farah and her husband, and they're here and they wanna come and hang out with us. So at this point, I'm like, Farah's coming? So let me tell you about pause. We're down in the wine cellar. Farrah's coming down. So let me tell you about Farrah. So Farrah was my manager at the bar at the time. And at that point, like, I wasn't really working there anymore. So it was just like, you know, whatever. I didn't work with her really that much anymore. But she was the one that really gave me the opportunity to, like, work at the bar. And, like, I never bartended before. And I, like, put in an application at one of the most expensive. I was like, I want to go bartend. I don't want to go bartend at Texas Roadhouse or Applebee's. I want to bartend at the most expensive steakhouse in my town, in my college town. But your girl went and did it, so whatever. I needed the money. So she gave me a chance, but she was a complete hard ass. She's like a complete hard ass. Like, she definitely had like a resting bitch face all the time, but she was a woman who was about her business, so I never hated on that. I like that about Farrah. So Farrah, long story short, comes down there with her husband, and she's like, hey, Chynna, how you doing? And I haven't seen her in like 2 weeks, something like that. Like, I think I went to get my last check around that time. And like, we like hug or whatever. And it's cool. Like, I wasn't going to be awkward, even though I felt so uncomfortable. Usually you don't feel uncomfortable, but I just didn't know how to act because, again, like, she was such a hard ass and like so like staunch, like boss lady, that I was like, all right, HBIC, do your thing, girl, do your thing. So I was like, all right, she's here, her husband's here, my friends are here, so all right. So back to John. So John lets us go ahead and pick out a bottle of wine, literally in the wine cellar. And I kid you not, like, it was like definitely like wine cellar at Pete Buttigieg's house. Okay, honey, we having the fundraiser for that's a political joke. I never thought I would do that, but anyway. So like, he definitely had wine cellar on lock and key in his parents' house. So we pick out a bottle. I promise you not. We pick out a bottle. Mamet and I pick out a bottle from 1998. Now, I was born in 1996. That bottle was like 20 years old, literally. So it was a red wine, and we go upstairs and we pour it up. So he's like, have whatever you want. Like, we pour the wine, and I'm gonna tell you about this wine, y'all. The wine was so red and so thick that like it literally looked like it was old, but it was so good. And you took, I literally one glass, you felt it. You were literally lit. So we had some red wine, and then of course John goes ahead and brings out the cocaine. So he brings out the cocaine, and keep in mind, like, at this point in time, I've had so much cocaine pulled out in front of me, and I'm like, I don't do that. That's not my thing. So many times, but I'm just like, all right, bro, whatever. So let's let him do the cocaine. I never knock it, you know, do whatever drugs you like to do. So he pulls it out or whatever. He starts to like chop it up. Like, obviously when you have cocaine, you gotta chop it up, whatever. So he starts to chop it up on the table, like upstairs, like on their little like bar in the kitchen. So I'm like sitting here like, oh my God, like he's doing this in front of her. Like, what the heck is going on, whatever. So they're sitting there, she's all lit, whatever, off something else. And then she looks at me, and this is the moment. She's like, if you say anything, I will deny it, and you will definitely be fired indefinitely. You will indefinitely be fired. So, like, you know, I wasn't kind of like working there, not working there, and I was like, oh my God. So, okay, Farrah. I said, between us, what the heck, double hockey sticks is going on here? So she proceeds to go take bump after bump after bump, baby. I'm like, oh my God. She does cocaine. She's doing cocaine right in front of me. My boss doing cocaine right in front of me. This is crazy. So at that time, like, he offers it to like my friends, and they're like, nah, like whatever. Like, honestly, like we just wasn't doing that. People had school, like that's their provocative, whatever, but nobody doing that. So we're like sitting there just having the wine or whatever, and then they start to get like lit and hyped up. So she moving around, dancing. She loosens up, starts to like make jokes with me about like our boss and like how they never get to loosen up. And I could tell they were using John as well. And like they actually do know each other. So they knew that John, like they came to John's parents' house, like they were with us, like 21 and 22-year-olds. And I was like, yo, this is like absolutely crazy. So long story short, again, we go into his parents' living room. And guess what? One of my friends drops some wine in the living room. So it's like a little bit of wine in like their big piano room with the white carpet that John, of course, said, don't do that. So at that point, like the night is starting to already go left. So I'm just like, oh my God. Like, so we go into the living room and we go into John's like family's like piano room and his like white carpet and all that. So basically, like, long story short, he's like, don't put anything, you know, near the carpet. Don't spill anything. So, of course, da-da-da-da-dee. One of my friends, spills something on the carpet. So he spills it on the carpet, and, like, John was like, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. But at that point, like, it was, like, I just literally looked at the snaps, and you're gonna see that in my thumbnail. It was like 12 o'clock we got there, so it's probably like 1:30 in the morning now. And like, I still get awkward and uncomfortable sometimes, so I'm just like, forget it. So at that point, your girl was kind of scared to get ready to go. So my friends are still having a good time. I'm still chilling. He like goes and like shows us different pictures and plays songs on the piano. It's very upper echelon and very quiet. So then now my boss and her husband start to get a little touchy-feely. So they're like sitting on the couch, and I'm like, did they take like ecstasy? A little bit of ecstasy. Ow. A little bit of you and me. Ow. Y'all remember that song? Who sung that song? Comment if you know who sung that song. So that starts happening, and they're like making out on the couch and like kissing and touching. I'm like, these people are like 50 years old doing this in front of us, and I'm like, what is happening? That's that cocaina now, 1998 wine, baby. What's up? They're getting litty titty. So I'm like, okay, all right, I'm just accepting it, letting it happen, of course, being awkward. So at that point, I'm like, all right, John, we're gonna probably get up and go. So my friends are like, okay, we're gonna go. So we're like talking about it, whatever. Like John like gives us some tree or whatever, sends us on our way. And then I'm like to myself, I wonder if they're gonna have like some type of like threesome, like some type of like group intercourse, like ordeal. Not judging, but like, again, I told you, like, you know, John is gay, so I didn't really know, you know, what was happening here. So I said, all right, as I always do, okay, in my mind. So the next day kind of rolls around, and I text him like, thank you for having us over. See, your girl's always polite. I'm always gonna be polite no matter what weird stuff happened or whatever. And he's like, yeah, you know, Farrah and her husband had sex in front of me last night. I didn't join though, LOL. And I was just like, what? They literally had sex on his parents' couch in front of him. He just let it happen. Because they were all coked out. It's the cocaine again. The cocaine makes you do some crazy things, y'all, apparently. So that's absolutely insane. So they do all that and in front of him, and he just like said it so nonchalantly to me, but like made it clear that he didn't engage in it, because I was like, what is actually happening here? And long story short, again, we go to like 4 months later, and it's graduation time, and it's in May, and I called up to the steakhouse. At that point, I wasn't working there because I had senior showcase for acting school, and I had to like quit all that and focus on the show. So your girl had to do her acting stuff. And I made a reservation there with like my family, like me and like my 10 family members who came for my graduation to go eat there. And literally she was talking to me as if nothing ever happened, and I was talking as if nothing ever happened. So nothing ever happened, and this is the first time I'm really talking about it. They will never really see this, and it doesn't matter at all anymore, literally. But that is truly the story of my crazy night with my boss. They definitely were getting lit-tuationed up, let me tell you, lit-tuationed. So that's the story, y'all. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, and make sure you leave a comment, y'all, and let me know. Have you had any weird encounters with your co-workers or going out with people? I stopped doing that stuff after a hot minute, y'all, so it's been a long time. I should have left you without a dope deep to step two to step two. Ah! I had some moonshine, I'm sorry. All right, y'all, I will see you guys later, and thank you. Bye.